Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down one of the most common things you hear in any office, the quick chat. It sounds so simple, right? But what if I told you that hidden inside this everyday exchange is a super precise, step-by-step formula for turning a colleague into an actual friend?
And yep, it almost always kicks off with something just like this. Just checking in. It's easy, it's professional, it's safe. Think of it as the officially approved key that unlocks the door to a conversation.
So Mark asks about Sarah's meetings. This is the official reason they're talking. It's the work-related topic that makes the whole chat feel productive and totally justified.
All right, so let's really get into it. Because that simple question, it's not just a question. It's a doorway. It's an invitation to go beyond the boring status updates and get into something a little more real. Let's follow the breadcrumbs.
You'll see, the conversation takes its first turn almost right away. It shifts from being all business to something, a bit more human and relatable.
And there it is. See? Sarah doesn't just give a one-word answer like, fine. She throws out something specific, something she knows they can both relate to, the dreaded budget meeting. This is such a classic move to see if they're on the same page.
But what's really going on here? It's not just complaining for the sake of it. This is how you start building an alliance. It's like saying, hey, this job can be tough, you feel me? It turns them from two separate people into a tiny team united against a common enemy, even if that enemy is just a boring meeting.
Okay, so once they've established that little bit of common ground, that shared frustration, the door just swings wide open to talk about the bigger stuff, the pressures they're both dealing with every single day.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? You're stuck in that room, the clock feels like it's ticking backwards, and the conversation is just going in circles. It's pretty much a universal corporate experience.
And when Sarah says this, it's actually a pretty big deal. It's a moment of real vulnerability. She's not just saying the meeting was boring, she's admitting it totally wore her out mentally. That kind of honesty shows trust, and it opens the door for a much deeper connection.
Now, what's so cool here is how this pulls together everything they've both talked about. You've got Sarah dealing with this high-stakes presentation, and then Mark with all the data crunching and admin stuff. It really paints a full picture of their workload and shows they're both in the trenches, just in different ways.
So, okay, after all that talk about pressure and stress, where does the conversation go next? Well, the natural question is, how do you deal with it all? How do you even begin to find some balance?
And this is just a perfect illustration of two totally different ways to handle that stress. You've got Mark, who's like, I need something easy that doesn't add more pressure. Then there's Sarah, who's all about having a big goal, that 10K, to keep her fired up. And you know what? Neither one is better than the other, they're just different.
And here it is, the key takeaway. Even though their methods are different, the end goal is exactly the same. For both of them, it's about using physical activity to clear their heads, to draw a line in the sand between their work self and their home self.
Now, they could have just left it there, right? A nice little chat, they understand each other's gym habits, all good. But nope, the conversation goes one level deeper into something even more personal. And this is a huge shift. When a book comes up, they're not talking about work anymore. They're not even just talking about exercise. They're in this whole other world of culture, of ideas, and of personal taste. This is actually a textbook move, something sociologists call shared cultural shorthand. And it's super powerful. The moment you find out you've both read the same book or love the same show, you're not just Mark from accounting anymore. Suddenly, you're two people who kind of see the world in a similar way.
All right, let's tie this all together. We've seen all these different layers, the work check-in, the shared complaints, the common interests, but how does it all lead to a real connection?
And this right here, this maps out the whole playbook perfectly. You start with a legit work reason, you find some common ground over a shared problem, you build on that with personal interests, and bam, it all leads to an invitation to actually hang out outside of the office.
And that's the end game right there. The whole conversation, which kicked off with something as boring as budgets and meetings, has now successfully landed on a plan for tacos. They've officially crossed the bridge from colleague to potential friend.
And listen to how Sarah says yes. This is so important. She calls it a reward. It's not another chore on her to-do list. It's not an obligation. It's a positive thing, a great way to cap off a long day. And that's how you know the connection is real.
So, the next time you find yourself asking a coworker how their morning is going, just remember this whole process. You're not just killing time or making small talk. you might actually be laying the groundwork for the kind of real human connections that make going to work feel, well, a whole lot better.